Hey, it's Mark Slane again with the United States Krav Maga Association. Today talking about teaching women self-defense, self-defense for women. I've said this many times, truly when anybody comes to you to learn self-defense as an instructor, they are literally putting their lives in your hands. You better be teaching them the most up-to-date, battle-tested, realistic stuff you can come up with. To teach something from your system, just because it's your system, is unforgivable. We should constantly be scouring for better things, for updated techniques, whatever makes it simple, easy, effective. Krav Maga, of course, in my opinion, is as good as it gets for ladies. It was truly, depending on whose version of history you want to listen to, developed by the Israeli Defense Forces. Problems they had with who they were teaching was they had everybody, ages 18 to 55, men and women both. They only had them for 6 weeks. So truly whatever they taught them had to be effective for anybody. It couldn't rely on brute strength, couldn't rely on how big you were, couldn't rely on how athletic you were. Again, they had everybody. And it had to be easy to learn, easy to remember. Truly, I've preached many times about techniques aren't going to save us. It's the going crazy, going ballistic. As Sergeant Rory Miller says, the first person to go balls to the wall usually wins. So we're absolutely teaching a mindset, we're teaching aggression. One thing to think about as a male instructor, I see a lot of scary stuff being taught to females, as self-defense for women. Truly, think of it this way, male instructors. Think of your nightmare opponent. Think of your nightmare attacker. Okay, he outweighs you by 80 pounds. He's bigger, stronger, faster, more athletic, meaner. He's trained a lot more than you. Your best punch in his face is just going to piss him off. His punch in your face is going to knock you out and possibly kill you. Truly, our nightmare attacker is the lady's likely attacker. Absolutely. They're going to be bigger, stronger, more athletic. It's just a fact of life. So think about what you're teaching them. Again, think of your nightmare attacker. Would putting your keys between your fingers do a damn thing with that? Would falling on the ground and putting your legs in between you and them really help? Would standing and sparring, trying to become a good fighter, is that going to help you beat someone who is a much bigger, stronger, faster, better fighter? How about taking them to the ground? How do you know he doesn't have an equally sized, vicious buddy with him? And yet we teach this stuff to women as self-defense for women, and I don't get it. If it's not going to work for me against someone that big and strong, it's not going to work for them. What's going to work for me if I've got an attacker that big, that strong, that fast, that athletic? Punch them in the throat before they've recovered from that, kick them in the groin before they've recovered from that, knee them in the throat again before they've recovered from that, stomp their Achilles and hobble them and get the heck out of there. We're fighting to escape. When we teach self-defense for women, absolutely, that's what it's got to be. Be vicious, do some damage, and get out of there. We're not going to square up and fight with this guy. Truly, if everything you're teaching you put into that context, this guy's big, he's huge, he's my opponent, what's going to work against him? There aren't many things that are going to work. We teach the good combatives, we teach the philosophy, we teach people to have a switch, to go from their nice, normal, everyday person to being vicious, going forward to do the maximum amount of damage in the minimum amount of time, and then getting the heck out of there. And truly, when you're teaching self-defense for women, when I've taught many seminars, I've written a book on self-defense for women. Women are sweethearts. They're nice. They've been brought up that way generally. It's hard to get them to get vicious. They've always been taught, I don't fight, I don't get vicious, and that makes victims out of people. Truly, the scumbags are looking for a victim. If we became an opponent instead of a victim, that's not what they want. They're more than likely to get the heck out of there. I know when I was writing the Self-Defense for Women book in Columbus, Ohio, there was a serial rapist. He had raped 3 women. The 4th he attempted, she put up such a fight that he ran away. That's what it's all about. We've got to teach them to go forward, to be vicious, to realize I'm going to get hurt, but I'm going to pay it back times 10. I'm going until one of us is unconscious, and it's going to be you, scumbag, because I train. So again, put everything that you're teaching females under that litmus test. We need to teach things that are truly going to save them, and not things that our system has that we have to teach because we're paying homage to someone that we can't question. This drives me crazy. Think for yourself. We just recently, I saw a video of it was a small girl, I think she was a newscaster, and this big guy had a knife to her throat. The defense was horrible. It was so complicated. It had so many moving parts. She had to pop his shoulder, get underneath it, put a figure 4 lock onto it. It's like, really? As soon as she did that first move, he was going to pick her up off the ground and slam her onto the ground. We've got to have things that aren't long and complicated. We got to have a philosophy of go for targets that hurt, hit a bunch of them, go until we're finished, and we're finished when we're safe, when they're on the ground and done. So again, when people are coming to you to learn self-defense, they're literally putting their lives in your hands. Teach good stuff. Think about things. Mark Slane with the United States Krav Maga Association.